The heat is rising fast, and temperatures could soon hit 100 degrees. Facing an Arizona summer without air conditioning might sound as absurd as wearing a wool sweater in a sauna. Yet the Amish, who famously avoid modern technology, have chosen to live in some of the hottest parts of the US without a single AC unit. Before you start sweating at the thought, here's the real question. How do they manage it? Sure, part of it's mental toughness, but there's more to the story. The Amish don't just endure the heat, they found smart ways to live with it. It's a mix of traditional techniques, simple living, and clever design, rooted in a lifestyle that's nothing like ours. And since they've thrived for generations without modern gadgets, maybe there's something we can learn. Arizona can reach brutal highs of 120 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to fry an egg on the sidewalk. Most of us rely on air conditioning, which didn't even become common until the mid-1900s. Before that, people stayed cool using natural methods the Amish still use today. Ever stepped into an old stone building and felt the cool air inside? That's the kind of passive cooling they aim for, but their methods go far beyond thick walls. And in a desert like Arizona, Amish communities have had to get even more creative compared to cooler places like Pennsylvania. Now, no one's saying you should ditch your AC or start dressing Amish style, but their way of staying cool without electricity proves that with the right approach, it's possible. And honestly, some of their strategies might be a lot more practical than they seem. Thick walls and natural building materials. We've already talked about how the Amish managed to live in Arizona without air conditioning, but let's be honest, mental toughness isn't enough when it's 115 degrees Fahrenheit in the shade. Their real secret? It starts with how they build their homes. Picture stepping into a cave in the middle of the desert. Outside it's scorching, but inside it's calm, cool, and surprisingly comfortable. That's exactly what walking into an Amish home feels like. They build with thick walls made from adobe, clay, and wood, natural materials that act as insulation, keeping the heat out and the cool air in. The idea is simple. The thicker the wall, the slower the heat travels through it. It's like living in a giant thermos, hot on the outside, cool on the inside. This strategy is incredibly effective in Arizona's intense sun. As the thick walls absorb heat during the day, that heat takes hours to penetrate. By the time it does, the sun is setting and the desert air is cooling. Think about it. Standing outside, you're roasting instantly, but behind adobe walls, you barely feel it. I remember stepping into an old adobe house on a sweltering summer afternoon. Outside, it felt like an oven. Inside, cool and quiet, like someone had secretly installed air conditioning. That's the power of natural insulation, and it's what the Amish depend on. And they're not the first to do this. For centuries, people in the Middle East and North Africa have used similar techniques. The Amish simply continue to use what's always worked, relying on nature instead of machines. Their material choices are intentional. Clay and adobe absorb heat by day and release it at night, helping maintain a stable indoor temperature. Wood, paired with these materials, adds even more insulation. It's like layering clothes in winter, only in reverse, layering your home to keep the heat out. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but isn't flipping on the AC easier? Sure, but it comes at a cost. Air conditioning burns through energy, and in Arizona, that can mean $400+ electric bills during the summer. The Amish? Their homes stay cool with virtually no energy use. They pay once for materials and let nature do the rest. Even when the power goes out, Amish homes stay comfortable. No electricity? No problem. Their homes are built to work with nature, not fight it. And not only are they cool, they're durable, too. These thick-walled houses can handle the harsh Arizona climate for decades. High ceilings. We've already seen how the Amish use thick walls and natural materials to keep their homes cool. But there's another smart tactic they rely on: high ceilings. And no, it's not to make their homes feel like cathedrals. It's a simple, practical way to beat the heat. Here's how it works. Hot air rises. It's basic physics, and the Amish take full advantage. As the sun heats up the house, warm air moves upward and away from where people actually live. Tall ceilings give that heat room to rise, leaving the lower part of the home cooler and more comfortable. No fans, no AC, just clever design. I still remember stepping into an Amish home for the first time. The ceilings were so high you could have played basketball in there. But what stood out wasn't the space, it was the cool, comfortable temperature at ground level, even with the sun blazing outside. That high ceiling created a natural, cool zone. The Amish didn't need engineering degrees, they just observed how air behaves and built around it. Contrast that with most modern homes, which tend to have low ceilings. When the air heats up, it has nowhere to go, so it lingers where we are. No wonder we're glued to the thermostat all summer long. And get this, homes with high ceilings can be 5 to 10 degrees cooler at the living level than those with standard ceilings. That may not sound like much, but in the Arizona heat, 5 degrees can be the difference between sweating and relaxing. For the Amish, who don't rely on electricity, that's huge. Just like their thick walls block heat from entering, high ceilings help move heat out of the way. It's an all-natural cooling system that doesn't use a single watt of power. The walls insulate, the ceilings vent. The result? A house that stays cool without a single fan or AC unit. Most of us don't even think about ceiling height when trying to stay cool. We crank up the AC, seal windows, or buy bigger fans. Meanwhile, the Amish avoid the problem entirely with smart, traditional design that's been working for centuries. And here's a bonus. High ceilings don't just cool the home, they also make it feel more spacious. The Amish aren't chasing luxury, but their homes still feel open and airy, especially compared to the tight, low-ceilinged houses many of us live in. More space, cooler temps, it's a win-win built right into the walls. But the Amish don't stop with thick walls and high ceilings. They've got another surprisingly effective way to stay cool: trees. While most people are busy adjusting thermostats or fanning themselves, the Amish plan ahead by planting trees in just the right places around their homes. It might sound simple, but trees can reduce cooling needs by up to 25%, and science backs it up. The Amish didn't need modern studies to know this. They've been using trees for shade long before air conditioning or electricity bills were even a thing. Trees aren't just decoration, they're nature's umbrellas, blocking the intense Arizona sun from hitting walls, windows, and rooftops. That shade makes a huge difference. And once planted, trees require almost no maintenance. No wires, no repairs, just natural, free cooling. I once visited an Amish home in the peak of summer. The whole area was sweltering, except their yard, which felt cool and breezy. When I asked how they kept it so comfortable without AC, they simply pointed to a huge oak tree shading the house. "That's our air conditioner," they said with a smile. Simple, smart, and effective. The Amish don't just plant trees around their homes. They use them to shade barns, fields, and outdoor workspaces too. This gives them cool spots to retreat to during the hottest hours of the day. And they're strategic about it. Trees are usually planted on the south and west sides of buildings where the sun hits hardest. They understand how sunlight moves and use it to their advantage. It's a rhythm with nature that most of us have forgotten. Here's a cool fact. Trees don't just block the sun, they cool the air itself. Through a process called evapotranspiration, trees release moisture that helps lower temperatures. It's like having a natural swamp cooler, minus the electricity or noise. And even if you've never heard the science, you've felt it. Standing under a tree on a hot day always feels cooler. Studies show shaded areas can be up to 10 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than those in direct sun. In the Arizona heat, that difference is everything, and the Amish have known it for generations. Just like their thick walls and tall ceilings, planting trees is another way the Amish work with nature instead of against it. No artificial fixes, no high-tech solutions, just smart, timeless practices that offer real results. That's efficient, sustainable living, the old-fashioned way. Old school ventilation. Cross breezes. Let's step back inside. If you've ever wondered how the Amish keep their homes cool without flipping a switch, the answer is simple. They let nature do the work. Their secret? Old school ventilation. No AC, no fans, no buzzing electronics. Just windows carefully opened and closed throughout the day to catch the perfect breeze. It might sound like a page out of history, but it works. The Amish don't rely on fancy tech or modern cooling systems. Instead, they use cross ventilation, creating natural airflow that pushes hot air out and draws cool air in, turning what could be a stifling room into a refreshing space. The key is timing and positioning. They've perfected the art of knowing which windows to open and when based on the wind's direction and the sun's path. Done right, it creates a continuous breeze through the house. No buttons, no noise, just fresh air. I remember visiting an Amish farmhouse during a brutal summer day. As soon as I walked in, a cool breeze greeted me. No fan, no AC, just perfectly positioned windows. I asked the homeowner how they pulled it off, and with a smile, he said, "We let the wind do the work." Honestly, it felt like magic, so simple, yet so effective. What makes this method even better is how it complements everything else we've talked about, like their high ceilings. As heat rises, it collects near the top of the room, while the cooler air stays low. By opening windows on opposite sides of the house, they create a natural cross breeze that carries warm air up and out, while cooler air flows in to take its place. And here's one of the best parts. There's no energy bill. Unlike air conditioning, which can cost a fortune. Summer kitchens. If you think the Amish stop at thick walls, high ceilings, trees, and ventilation to stay cool, think again. They've got another clever trick. Summer kitchens. And yes, it's just as smart as it sounds. Here's the idea. Cooking indoors during a scorching summer day can turn your house into an oven. In fact, using a stove can raise indoor temperatures by up to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Now imagine doing that when it's already over 100 degrees outside. No thanks, right? The Amish figured that out long ago, so they came up with a simple solution: move the cooking outside. Summer kitchens are separate spaces built just for preparing meals during hot months. Sometimes they're attached to the main house, sometimes fully separate, but the purpose is always the same: keep the heat out of the living area. While most of us crank up the AC after making dinner, the Amish are busy cooking full meals outdoors, without heating up the house. It's smart, efficient, and incredibly practical. Think of a summer kitchen like the ultimate outdoor kitchen, not just for grilling, but for cooking everything. Roast chicken, fresh bread, potatoes, you name it. It's like a picnic every day, but with homemade meals that taste like comfort. And the logic behind it is crystal clear. Heat rises, and if you don't want it rising inside your home, just don't cook in there. Problem solved. Once again, the Amish show us how working with nature beats fighting against it. By shaping their lifestyle and home design around the seasons, they stay cool and comfortable. No AC, no gadgets, just smart, thoughtful living. Ice houses. Now let's dig a little deeper, literally. When it comes to keeping things cool without a refrigerator, the Amish have a time-tested solution that goes back centuries: ice houses. These aren't ordinary sheds or barns. They're deep insulated pits where ice, harvested during the winter, is stored to last through the summer. Think of it as a pre-electricity freezer, except instead of being plugged in, it's buried underground, quietly doing its job. While many of us run to the store for ice bags in summer, the Amish have massive blocks of ice tucked underground, insulated with sawdust or straw to keep them frozen for months. This method can preserve food like meat, milk, and perishables well into August, even during peak heat. No fridge required, no electricity used. It may sound old-fashioned, but it works. The house stays cool, there's no refrigerator humming 24/7, and perishables stay fresh thanks to nature's own freezer. It's the ultimate low-maintenance cooling method. No buttons, no cords, no bills, just ice, a shovel, and a bit of straw. And there's even a fun side to it. While others are sledding in the winter, Amish families are out cutting and storing ice blocks. It's a real seasonal tradition. I once tried to build my own DIY version of an ice house. A few trays of ice and a fan in the backyard. Let's just say it didn't work. Meanwhile, the Amish have had their system nailed down for generations. What's brilliant about ice houses is how they fit into the Amish way of life, working with nature, not against it. Just like they use breezes to ventilate their homes or trees for shade, ice houses let them harness winter's cold to survive summer's heat. It's a natural cycle and a smart one. Clothing choices. Now let's tackle something unexpected: Amish clothing. If you've ever seen the Amish in the middle of summer, you might wonder, how are they not drenched in sweat, wearing all those long sleeves? Here's the twist. Those long sleeves and wide-brimmed hats, they're actually helping them stay cool. It might sound counterintuitive. Most of us reach for tank tops and shorts as soon as the heat rolls in, but the Amish are applying the same logic that desert nomads use, layering to beat the heat. The idea is simple. Long, loose, light-colored clothing protects the skin from direct sunlight. When bare skin is exposed to the sun, it absorbs heat quickly, like a little solar panel. But covered skin, especially under breathable fabric, stays shaded and cooler. It also allows air to circulate underneath, creating a kind of personal cooling system. Surprisingly, the Amish and desert nomads have more in common than you'd think. Both understand that covering up can actually keep you cooler in extreme heat. Science backs it up too. Loose, light clothing reduces how much heat your body absorbs, making it one of the oldest and most effective cooling tricks around. And remember that old advice from your grandparents, wear a hat in the sun. Well, they were right. A wide-brimmed hat doesn't just protect you from sunburn, it shades your face, neck, and shoulders, reducing your overall body temperature. It's like walking around with a portable roof. So next time you're heading out in the blazing sun, you might want to rethink that sleeveless shirt and baseball cap. A long-sleeved shirt and a wide-brimmed hat might just keep you cooler than you think, and your grandma would definitely approve. Cultural mindset. At the end of the day, the Amish approach to heat isn't just about clever tricks. It's about cultural and mental resilience. They've learned to adapt, not by avoiding the heat, but by embracing it as part of life. It's a mindset shaped by generations of simple living. As an old Amish saying goes, it's all about learning to live with what you have. And let's be honest, after one summer without AC, you've got two choices: adapt or start Googling homes in Alaska. From high ceilings and tree shade to summer kitchens and ice houses, every strategy reflects a lifestyle built to work with nature, not against it. In the end, the Amish prove that the smartest way to stay cool doesn't always come from technology, but from simple, thoughtful living.